Here's one, Colossians 3:5. So put to death, that's how serious this is. Put to death the sinful earthly things lurking within you. Have nothing to do with sexual immorality, impurity, lust, and evil desires. Don't be, say it with me, greedy. Don't be what? Greedy. For a greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world. Wow. That really sums it up pretty well. Greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world. That's it. First thought, you can write this down, is that greed turns us into idol worshippers, just like Paul says there in Colossians. We've been talking a lot about idols the past few weeks. We've been talking about addictions and gluttony and how things can creep into our heart, and we chase after that more than we chase after God. That's an idol, a modern day idol. And this happens with greed a lot too. The more you acquire, the more you desire. And it's this more monster. I talk to my kids about the more monster inside of all of us. And this more monster wants to just want more and more and more and more and more. And he's never satisfied. And you go to Scene 75 and you go to Walmart and your kids say, more, 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 more. But adults do that too, don't we? We see the commercials. That's what commercials are. Trying to create a dissatisfaction in you. The car that you have isn't good enough. You need this new one. The phone that you have isn't good enough. You need the new one. Sometimes the spouse that you have isn't good enough. You need a new one. That's our culture. Greedy for more, 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 more. And the more monster always wants bigger, better, faster, newer, shinier, sleeker, whatever it is. This more monster will take over our lives, our heart, with idols if we let it. Just keep feeding it with stuff, and then eventually, like with addiction and gluttony, it takes over that space in our heart that's meant for God and Jesus. Obviously, well, is money a good thing or a bad thing? Shout it out. Good thing or bad thing? See? It depends what you do with it. It is both. It is good. It is bad. It's like a brick. You can throw a brick through a window, or you can build a hospital, right? That's what Dave Ramsey says. Money is both. And that's why it's kind of hard, like gluttony, because you got to eat it. You got to have money to survive, to buy food, to live, to do other things. So we have to deal with it. And so we're always wrestling with this idol of money in our hearts. But it's both. It can do so much good in this world. It can help so much people. But when you go from owning stuff to having that stuff own you, then it's a problem. When you go from controlling your finances to having your finances control you, that's when it becomes a problem. When it's controlling our hearts. That's why Jesus said in Luke 12, beware. Guard against every kind of greed, Jesus says. Life is not measured by how much you own. We have to be on guard. We have to put our shield up. We have to play defense, or else greed just creeps right on in there. But sometimes people say, it's just money and possessions, not a big deal. It's just stuff. I'm not really wrapped up in it. But we got to be careful, because Jesus also said, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God. And no one can serve two masters. You may have heard this one. For you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. And there go the stuffed animals. We cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. There's only so much room in our heart. Only so much room. And money, Jesus could have used a lot of other things besides money. There's a lot of other idols in our world. But He said money because He knows how deeply entrenched that can get within our soul, within our lives.
Forget about the cash, forget about the clothes, forget about the stash, forget about the dough, forget about the cars, forget about the rims, forget about them stars, forget about the Benz, forget about the big crib, trying to get rich, the big 6'4", plenty dough and trying to sit cribs, forget the cash and change, and stuff will pass away, and you can't take it with you till you after day.